are never really kind of, the only people who buy passive products in India are who are self-aware, and it's a very small percentage of the population.
So that's a very philosophical problem. How long will we take to become self-aware?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a, I think, like we've spoken about this earlier, which is, we need to introduce finance in schools and colleges. Like, I joke about this, which is, I don't know why I know circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. I'm like, I've never ever used it in my life, so, and, uh, but I think I should be knowing, from school, like, like how everyone probably here knows circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. Probably everyone should know what's a passive fund, what's a mutual fund, what is compounding, why,
Or how is inflation going to kill you?
yeah, how inflation is going to kill you, why you should invest, save for retirement. I think these basic concepts have to be taught in school, and hopefully, yeah, hopefully that change will happen in us.
I think we should do something about it. As in, I think I've been working on a few things. We're announcing something soon where we have kind of taken that as a mission to get going. But it seems like a very scary problem. It's not like the mass India is suffering this. The affluent India is also completely unaware of most of these concepts, and it's quite scary. Interest rates on your credit card, to what happens when you don't pay on time, and like all of these things are just alien concepts to the most affluent set.
I don't know what is about money that people don't. I mean, everyone wants money, but I don't know what is changing about it. Like if to buy a kilo of tomato, people will bargain for like hours. I mean, but you'll go spend your life saving on an insurance plan without doing any research. Based on a tip. I mean, I'm like, dude, like I don't get that shit though. I mean, like,
Well,
so, so it's
and I think that there is this belief we have that there is in our mythology there's a belief that there's mantras that exist. Like I say this mantra and this happens, and I say this mantra. So I think the tips just manifest from that thing that there is one thing that I can do, and there is this belief in silver bullets that can just kind of make me rich.
Yeah. No, also there is I would say there's another thing, right? In India, what has happened is financial products have been sold by distributors and not advisors. Okay, and what it means is, say you walk into a bank, right? A bank is a distributor of financial products, so he's going to sell you mutual funds, he's going to sell you insurance, and he's going to sell you what makes him the most money, right? I mean, it's a no-brainer. Now, so his incentive is you not knowing that he's making as much money, right? So that means his incentive is, in a way, you remaining ignorant, right? So while, the entire country has sold a lot of insurance policies, a lot of mutual funds, and a lot of financial products, no one has educated the customer in the process of that sale why you're supposed to do it, or why you need to, you need to understand. Whereas I think the thing about the US is it's more an advisory first, right? That means an advisor first explains you why for you, right? And then, you decide to do it or not. It's not. I'm not saying that US is a perfect model, but because it's an advisory first, and there's a fiduciary kind of obligation on the advisor of having explained the product. I think US has done a much better job in terms of financial literacy. Much better. Imagine, like, I walk into a bank. I'm a layman, and this bank manager tells me what exactly is the insurance policy I'm buying, and gives me, like, compares it to 10 other policies and kind of explains why I'm doing this, right? I would be more knowledgeable, right? If I'm more knowledgeable, I'll go propagate this, right? And this is something I've been talking, publicly, saying that we need to find ways to enable an advisory ecosystem in this country. I mean, for a population 150 crores, we have 1,000 advisors in this country. So, and so you need, like, this is something that we'll attempt in the next 1 to 3
I
years.
kind of disagree with what you are saying. We only have 1,000 licensed advisors because everybody is an advisor in India.
Yeah, but the thing is that advisor is a distributor, so he's got an incentive in you not knowing it,
Yeah,
right?
which is where it gets complicated. Uh, Also, there is this belief in India where we know for this I have to call this person, and for this I have to call this person. If I need something with my car, there is one guy. If there is money here, there is one guy. I think India has a very social way of looking at things. All of us know कि ये contact number is purpose, and if I need to buy a good laptop, who to call. If I need to buy a good car, who to call, and like there is this mindset that we live with. But I'm gonna switch gears and ask you more like. take a 10, 15 years view out of India. Uh, what are the things that you're most excited about, and what are the things that you're worried about? And take a 15-year view. Like
Yeah.
we have the luxury of seeing this crazy decade that we've all, both of us have massively benefited from, but
Right.
15 years out.
I mean, see, one of the reasons, when someone says, why don't you exit, some stake in the business and all, I say that, I'm 100% long India, right? Because it just, like in my head, I might be proved wrong, but it somehow seems like, like I think cyclically India, it's time for India, and it's because of a bunch of things, which is firstly, yeah, I think like Elon Musk has said, I think this whole population crisis is a thing. A lot of people think we're overpopulating, but I'm a firm believer that most countries in the world have a population crisis, which means India is going to be one of the few countries where which has got the right demographics over the next 10, 20 years in terms of having the maximum population actually earning and generating revenue for the country and for the companies, etc. So, and usually when I, meet my nephews and all of these kids, who ask me for life advice, I say, do whatever, don't leave India. So, because this whole ambition of going to the US, doing, whatever, so I'm like, yes, it's worked out in the past in the US, but I think US, given that dollar is kind of losing its supremacy, maybe cyclically it's time for US to not do well over the next 30, 40 years, and it's time for India to come. So yeah, so I think I'm excited about India. Now, the problem in India is that will we make the journey from the $2,000 per capita to $5,000 per capita? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how we will get there. I mean, there's no problem. No point of having like this great population demographic if the country is not becoming wealthier over time, right? So I don't know what new industries will come through in India because if you have such a large population, a working population, you also need to find them jobs to do. But the fact that we have such a large working population, some of my gut says that the opportunities will present itself. Like like for example, what's happening in China, and suddenly all these opportunities that are opening up in manufacturing, right? So I think India has done a great job in terms of having cordial relationship with most countries in the world, right? Which means when opportunities open, because one of the things that's also happening across the world is whole this deglobalization, right? I mean, I think countries are becoming more nationalized. They're thinking about themselves. So I think I don't know what it is today, but it's somehow like the gut says that over the next 10, 15, no, next 5, 10 years, there'll be opportunities that will open up for India, given how our relationships are with some of the large global countries, in terms of creating jobs and of sorts. So yeah, what am I most excited about is I mean,
I'm going to put you on spot.
uh,
What's going to be our GDP in 10 years from now?
I mean that's a it's a really tough ask, So I mean since
Okay, conservative.
no, I mean since everyone's estimating, this is a political issue. I don't want to.
Okay, talk about one specific thing. China had this one thing where before they took off on prosperity, had 96% of urban Chinese women that were actively working in the workforce.
Right.
It's less than 6, 7% in India. What percentage of your customers are male?
I mean, see, the thing is, while most of our customers are male, I mean, even the tiny percent who are female, I think are male managing those accounts. So, I mean, it's I mean,
That's a good one.
I mean, the actual percentage of actually women managing their own accounts is really, really, really small. So.
Or having their own income.
I mean that it's tough for me to say it, but what we've done as an exercise is, we've randomly picked up women customers and called them up and they're like, oh, speak to my husband, so and so yeah, no, I mean I think absolutely that has to change. I think women have to start, a lot more, Indian women have to start contributing. I mean, while it is happening, of course, in metros, but I think it's more at the rural level where you need women to be more kind of coming into the whole formal economy of sorts. So I mean, of course, for the for India to do well, that has to happen. It can't be just one. Women have to be kind of equal partners in this. Hmm.
Love it, love it. I'm gonna wrap with just one last question, and I would love for you to spend some time with the team. I'm sure they will want to maybe take a selfie with you. I'm just kidding. At least I've banned selfies at my office for myself. It's easier that way. I'm sure you get recognized now, and people ask you for tips or not. Does that happen?
I mean, I'm either in the office or at my home. I hardly ever get out.
Okay, so that was my question. What is your day like? Talk about that. I really am curious.
Uh-huh.
I know for a fact that